Shalom. Kol halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Makakadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. The 144,000 and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, among the heathen that look like the heathen, the speckled birds, the Israelite foreigners. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. And, through the Spirit, I had watched a couple days ago, I watched both the first Purge, as soon as it actually hit the Netflix, and then I watched the election year. And it's funny because a beloved brother, the elder brother Amawan Abad, he had put up a meme of those two, and they're so fitting to everything that's going on and what's about to happen. I'm trying to find my fair use image here so I can read it. And it was through the Spirit he put those memes up, and I had just watched those movies, and those movies have been heavy on my mind these last couple days. And then, so I set to do this response using this character here, Dante Bishop. All right, because low key, he's one of the main characters in the movie. When you really think about it, it really focuses on him because the whole thing kicks off with this character who's a homeless veteran. I don't know if he was Army or Marine Corps, but he was a veteran who was homeless. And, they're going to tell a little bit of the story. And he was seeking shelter in a wealthy neighborhood, thinking that the wealthy people wouldn't be out purging, they'd be locked behind their gated communities and stuff. And it was a complete opposite. They were some of the worst. And his story of survival, trying to survive the madness, the hate, which is delivered by Esau Edom. I'm just trying to find this my fair use shot, just to make it simple so I wouldn't have to hunt it down every time. There it is. Call halal Yahweh Shema Shai. So let's go ahead and read this copyright disclaimer. This copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use of purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right, so I am not profiting from this in any way. This is simply for educational purposes, informational purposes to make a point. All right, so let me open with the scripture. Let me get before I play the clip. Let's get Zechariah 11, 5 and 6. So let's get that first. This is Zechariah 11, 5 and 6, and it reads, "Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, or blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich. And their own shepherds pity them not. For lo, I will no more pity the inhabitants of the land, saith Yahweh. But lo, I will deliver the men, every one into his neighbor's hand, and into the hand of the king of his king. And they shall smite the land, and out of their land I will not deliver them." Right? So there's going to be a lot of blood. And the Israelites, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence. Literally. So that it's a physical thing. They're not suffering violence in heaven. That the false doctrine that Christianity teaches. The kingdom of heaven is here upon earth, walking among men, all right, in shame right now. And they suffered violence. Same way Dante Bishop did. All right. And he did these people no wrong, yet they sought to kill him, to harm him for their pleasure, because they just enjoy blood. But let's play this clip. Just a couple minutes long.
We were first introduced to Dante Bishop on March 21st, 2022 in Southern California. He's homeless, and he's being stalked by a group of purgers who describe themselves as fine, young, very educated guys and gals. They wear creepy brown masks and fancy clothes. It's not known why they target him, but it's entirely possible that being homeless, he thought he'd fare better hiding in an upscale residential neighborhood whose residents are less likely to be on the streets for their purge than those in the inner city. But his assumption was sadly mistaken when he encountered their group, and it just happened to be the first homeless person they came across. They have a mission to take out the homeless in the lower class because wiping out that demographic means paying less on taxes that support things like food stamps and homeless shelters.
Which is a complete and total lie. Taxes is to pay back, all right, the interest on the money that they printed out of nothing. So I want you to really think about that. They print money out of nothing. So I'll show you how educated these people are not, how stupid they are. They print money out of nothing and then charge you interest on it for using it. That's what your tax money is for. It has nothing to do with building your roads and your streets and et cetera, et cetera. They would do those things to a certain degree just so they could keep you working in their system so that they can keep taxing you. All right? So it goes to show you that these people with their educations, they really aren't that smart at all. They're actually quite stupid.
It's clear based on the way they talk about him that they look down on the homeless.
The man you're sheltering is nothing but a dirty homeless pig, a grotesque menace to our just society who had the audacity to fight back.
Oh, they have the audacity to fight back. A grotesque menace to our just society. Okay, let me go to this image here. All right, that very top one says, name the country that was built on the genocide of one race and the enslavement of another, which is a half-truth within itself because they actually enslaved both races. All right. As a matter of fact, you see them together. They were all in 1682. Let me show you the receipts. In 1682 in Virginia, this is a very important information I'm about to share with you, some gems. So I suggest that any of you that's watching screenshot this imagery and listen closely to the breakdown. Because in 1682, Virginia passed 2 acts. All right, let's put that up. Okay. In 1682, let me get balanced. That combined natives and Africans into one category, Negroes. All right, the Negro Indian and the slave traded Negro. All right, so a lot of these people run around saying the Negroes are natives. Well, they were the same people. That's just Jeremiah 50 and 33 when it talks about Israel and Judah were oppressed together and Jerusalem were oppressed together. All right, so they combined them into one category because they were the same race of people, different tribes. All right, the Negroes that were brought here from Africa, because you got this crazy lie that, not to get off subject, but you got this crazy doctrine being taught that the Negroes, there was never any Negroes came from Africa, they were already here. No, the ones that were already here were the Northern Kingdom, and they were the same people from different tribes. They really did bring Negroes, some Israelites from Africa, and then relabeled them as Negroes. And now you went from that to colors to black. That's why your nationalities change every couple of years. And so these facts that you're looking at, all right, they label critical race theory when in fact they're critical race historical facts. As you can see on the bottom, well, you can't see it, it's out of frame, but it says, how could this be? Slavery is a crucial integral slavery is a crucial and integral as the genocide of the first American nations. The truth is that the history, what does it say? As another name for critical race history is actual American history. That will be the most accurate statement on the whole thing. So critical race historical facts, like and subscribe. All right, that's a great channel to get information on subject matters like this. But let's go back to the thing at hand, back to Dante Bishop. All right. So the fact is that there is nothing just about this society. This society was built off genocide and slavery, rape, robbery, and murder. And then these very same people Now say that they're just society. Now they're the Christians. Now they're the law enforcement. Now they're everything that is pure and good to lead a society, when their whole society was created off rape, robbery, murder, and enslavement, and the suffering of other people. And it still is to this day. That's why they place military garrisons in all these other countries around the world. Let's show another important fact on here too. While we're here, those images that you see, this Negroes for sale, all right, those were actually those natives, because it's telling you about how they're smallpox free. The slave ships didn't have a smallpox problem. America had a smallpox problem because Cristobal Columbus and the people that came after him, that's one of the ways that they cleared out the land. And so this image that they used for these slaves were actually, guess what? These were actually Native Americans. You see? So that's where the confusion lies. All right, I forget the name of this book here up in the corner, but those were natives. All right, with smoking their tobacco when the ships pulled up. Okay, that's a very famous book. There's also a very famous painting about the first Americans, and it shows you how dark they were, dark just like Negroes, because they were the same race of people. And so the lightening up of the skin color of the so-called Hispanics and natives today, they're the result of the rape, robbery, and murder. All right, because they raped so many of them. Well, they changed what they look like, and this isn't new, because Alexander of Macedon did the same thing when he took over Europe from the dark flesh Japhetic people. All right, he did the same thing there. And now, they're in Europe and they're claiming that's not their homeland either. They actually come from Mount Seir. Okay, but let's go on to the next video, which is the next movie, which is the Purge Anarchy. Basically, when Jake began to raise up and fight back. Okay? As a matter of fact, let me get a scripture too that I didn't read, that I should have read before I changed the clip. Because what ended up happening is that family, let's click back. This family, along with Dante Bishop, fought back because the son, the young guy on the end there, got soft-hearted and when Dante came to their front door begging for help, he hit the alarm and raised it up, and he came in, which is why those privileged a-holes were at the door of this family trying to get him back, and he went inside the house and hid. All right. And so first he had to survive this family who was going to give him up to the people and just let him die. But at the end, they ended up, fighting with the people, and Dante ended up saving their lives as he had saved theirs. I mean, they saved his life, and then he basically saved theirs in the end. All right. So it got pretty bloody and violent in that house, surviving this first purge night. And this is and those people that came after him, well, they got purged themselves. So let's go to Ezekiel 36:5, because that's the end result of Esau Edom. This is what's going to happen to him. All right, but this is Ezekiel 36:5, and it reads not 36 but 35, and 35:6-5. All right, it says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Because see, after slavery, our iniquity was up, but then Esau furthered the affliction and made it worse. All right, this was prophesied that he would do this. All right, and it says, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, and since thou have not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So the Edomites are eventually going to be exterminated. All right, they're gonna get the short end of the stick, though it's going to look like they're winning when all this chaos begins. But it's already prophesied they're in. All right, enter Carmelo, and this Carmelo guy was the leader of a resistance, which brings to mind Micah 5. Let me get that. And I'm going to read verse 7 through 10 after I play this short, like 15-second clip or whatever. All right, here we go.
Fuck you! Fuck your money! And motherfuck the purge! Carmelo, you over here.
You once said that the market mentality will no longer keep the American people stunted. We are outraged and we're fighting back.
Nice to meet you too, young lady.
There's a lot of men here.
Yeah, well, there's more of us. And more pissed off. It's time for them to feel what it's like. Changing comes when their blood spills.
Very well, and that's true. And you see, Bishop is with Carmelo, and he became Carmelo's right-hand man. And eventually, they don't show you what happens to Carmelo. We don't know if he dies or goes to prison or whatever happens. Maybe if I played this whole thing, it would actually explain it. But Bishop eventually becomes the leader of this resistance, which is fighting back on Purge night, every Purge night, against Esau Edom, which Esau Edom is trying to exterminate this resistance. All right? And this is all going to lead up to, this is what Jacob's trouble is going to happen, because eventually Esau is going to begin to exterminate Jacob, and Jacob is going to fight back. But this is Micah 7, 5 and 7, and it reads, and the remnant of Jacob, and you got to think about, that guy that flew over the bench at the judge and at that flag and knocked down the judge and that fake American flag. That wasn't even a real American flag. American flag that had fringes around it is not really an American flag nor an American courtroom. All right, that's admiralty law. That's and American citizens are not under admiralty law unless you're on the seas. So they're ruling over you very, very fraudulently in every way whatsoever. And when Americans finally begin to get this and wake up to this, it is going to get nasty and bloody. All right, but it says, and the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest, as a young lion among the flocks of sheep, who, if they shall go through, both treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and no one can deliver. So Jake, the Lord is going to turn up the spirit in Jake, all right, and create those spirits of vengeance, which are going to bring a lot of death, all right. Matter of fact, let's get that since I said it. No, because people die every day violently through beasts, wild animals, through other people. Murphy was telling a story about the hawk just came down out of the air while some lady was taking a selfie, looking in her phone, probably twisting her lips up, and a hawk came down and snatched her eye out and just flew away. All right. So this is Ecclesiastic, or the book, or Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach, chapter 39, verse 28, and it reads, there be spirits that are created for vengeance. All right? Literally just created for vengeance. And it says, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. All right? Fire and hail, famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword. The modern day sword is the gun. All right. And then literal swords. Punishing the wicked to destruction. The wicked is Esau Edom. And, this wicked of our people as well. Okay. That's why the 2/3 are set to die. That, they're that generation that back here. The ones that gave the Lord up, and the Lord is gonna deliver them unto death. All right. So this is the last clip, which is the purge, the election year. All right. And what's funny that we're in an election year, and clearly America's on the verge of a civil war. All right, a civil war, and you got this people against that people, the left against the right, the alphabet haters, the alphabet supporters. Then you got the racist element. It's one big ball of confusion. All right. And this is also brings to mind 2nd Ezra. Let's get that. The 15th chapter. Because, this is where Dante meets his demise in the 3rd movie. All right. Because if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. All right. Unless the Lord is with you and ordained you to go out and, and win battles. But this is 2nd Ezra 15, and I'm going to start at verse 14 and read through 19, and it reads, Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword of their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So you have the Jakes, both northern and southern kingdoms, so-called the Negroes, which actually covers Latinos, natives, and the so-called black people. All right, according to 1682 Act in Virginia. All right, poor Edomites and other peace-wanting people that were fighting against these militant racist militias that the elites were using the whole white power thing, which is no such thing as whiteness. They made that up in 1681. It's funny that in 1681, whiteness was created, and then in 1682, Negroes and natives were combined. I mean, blacks and Africans, so-called Africans and natives were combined into one race of people called Negroes. It's kind of funny that those things happen back to back, right? But basically, these people are going to clash. This has been a clash that's been written and prophesied for thousands of years now, and we're living in the days where it's actually about to happen. All right, and it says, And a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And the man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation. So all those things that I just read, and just because of hate. They're going to kill just because of hate, because of stupid biases. They're really, and color differences. And color does not determine your nationality nor your race, the bloodline that you do. They created this whole black-white thing, which is the complete fraud, in false social constructs, which people believe on. All right, because you can have two brothers. These two could be brothers with the same father. All right, and there are actually people out there in the world that's the case. And if you have the same father, you're blood brothers, 100%. If you have different fathers, then you're a lesser kin. You both, because both of you come from different lines, bloodlines. The bloodline is through the sperm of the man, not the woman. All right, the woman brings forth whatever seed is put into her. All right, it's point blank period. It's that simple. All right, but let's play this clip, and we'll read a couple more scriptures and wrap it up. This is the death of Dante Bishop. He had already been wounded and perceived he was going to die, so he decided to go out and kill as many Edomite racist militias that he could.
Move in me. Cover me. Go!
He said, I got one more move in me. And that was the end of my man, Dante. Yeah. That was the end of my man, Dante Bishop. He went out like a G. And the man that took him out met his demise at the hand of Frank Grillo. And for the record, Frank Grillo's a Jake, man. That dude's a Jake. In a knife fight, because they both were out of ammunition. So when it says, with literal swords in their hands, okay? But this is, let me get Zechariah real quick and wrap it up. Because at 2/3, the Lord will turn up the spirit in them, but then they're already marked for death. And it says, this is Zechariah 13:8, and it reads, And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. All right, so the third is the 1/3 elect. The 2/3 of our people are already labeled for death, though the Lord is going to use many of them as spirits of vengeance. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakak Wadash, Kwam Yasharala Shalom.